Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great America Show. It's great to have you with us on this beautiful day in America. A lot of news happening today, a lot going on in the world, a lot going on here in America. We're going to bring you all of that today here on today's episode. President Trump just moments ago announcing that they're very, very close to a deal in Gaza, between Gaza and the Hamas and Israel. We'll get to that later on in the show. But President Trump teasing a possible trip to the Middle East, possibly signifying a peace deal. But the news of the day I think that we have to get to is James Comey and his arraignment earlier this afternoon, or morning, I should say. Sort of an embarrassment and sort of a disgrace for this country, if you ask me, and not a disgrace that James Comey deserves to go to jail, a disgrace in the sense that James Comey was treated with the utmost respect and not treated like the criminal that he is, given pretty much white glove service, royal treatment, if you want to call it that. He was quietly put and brought through a back door for his arraignment. No handcuffs, no cameras, and no perp walk. He faces 2 felony charges and was allowed to bypass some of the public humiliation that the DOJ and the FBI inflicted on President Trump, his allies like Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, or anyone else, Roger Stone. We did an episode on it yesterday with Roger. All these people perp walked, embarrassed, shamed, yet Comey was allowed to go through the back door. No issues. This is a man who's facing felony charges, by the way. This is not a misdemeanor. This is charges of lying to Congress. The same charges that Roger Stone was brought up on, and similar charges to what Peter Navarro was shackled and pulled out of an airport on. So who's making these calls? Who's behind the fact that Comey was given this white glove service? Is it Kash Patel? Is it Pam Bondi? I promise you we're going to get to the bottom of it here because I want to know. And I think the American people want to know. You and I, certainly. Because we watched and we saw what happened to President Trump for the last 10 years. We watched President Trump be brought into a New York courtroom and be publicly shamed and embarrassed. We watched President Trump sit in a courtroom where the most absurd things were done to him and said to him, and he wasn't allowed to defend himself. We watched President Trump be abused for a show trial for a woman who alleged he raped her in a Bergdorf Goodman fitting room 100 years ago, found guilty, then forced to pay millions of dollars for allegedly defaming her. A woman that nobody's ever heard of, by the way. We won't say her name to give her any sort of clout. We watched that. We watched Judge Juan Merchan take away President Trump's rights, gag ordered. I mean, everything under the sun, the book thrown at this man. And to be quite honest and quite frank, he's the only one out of all these people. I'm not talking about Navarro or Roger Stone, but these people who are going to come, who's never actually done anything. He's been accused of just about everything under the sun, from cheating on his wife to just about treason, if you listen to the left's mainstream media. Yet he's the one who's never committed any of those crimes. Yet he's the one who's perp walked. He's the one who's fingerprinted. Now, I don't know if I'm mad necessarily that he was fingerprinted and pictured, because I think it did help this last election. People realize that if they can do it to a former president of the United States and a leading frontrunner, that they'll do it to you and I. And something I talk about here on the show often. If that was done to President Trump, how many other people are sitting in jail right now that are actually innocent, who have been wrongfully convicted by a corrupt judiciary? They did it to President Donald J. Trump and everyone around him. So chances of them doing it to somebody else who was innocent, I'd say the chances are probably pretty damn high. Now, Comey was joined by some of his family members outside the courtroom, some of those being his daughters, his wife, Patricia, his daughter, Maureen, son-in-law, Troy Edwards, who also worked in the Virginia Eastern District Office, second daughter. They all lined up outside the arraignment. They weren't allowed in the courtroom. He's the first FBI director to ever be arraigned on any kind of felony charges from actions that he took as FBI chief. Now, his daughter, Maureen Comey, you may recall, is the lead prosecutor on the Epstein case and the Ghislaine Maxwell case, as well as, of course, the P. Diddy case. She was a lousy attorney and finally fired in July by the Trump administration. This was the woman that you may recall got Ghislaine Maxwell the sort of lenient sentence. And by lenient, I mean she's going to be out before she dies, which is a disgrace, in my opinion. And now the most recent P. Diddy, they were talking about years and years and tens of years in jail for P. Diddy. And this man's going to sit in jail just a few years. I mean, he deserved to sit in jail and rot there the rest of his life with some of the things that he did to people. This is all the doing of Maureen Comey. Also there, as I said, his son-in-law, Troy Edwards, who resigned when James Comey was charged with these felonies in September. The family slipped out together and hung out around outside because, like I said, they weren't allowed inside the courtroom while it was taking place. Now, someone we used to have on the show a lot when the great Lou Dobbs hosted it was a man by the name of Mike Davis. He's the president and founder of the Article 3 Project. And no, he's not our guest today, but he's someone that I follow on Twitter, and I found it very interesting that I see on his feed every single day, justice is coming. Nobody is above the law. Sort of like he works as a de facto Department of Justice employee. But after reading for about 2 weeks his stuff, it seems he's more of a cheerleader for the Department of Justice than a employee of the Department of Justice. And he had this to say today, and take a listen because it really troubled me listening to his reasoning and his cover about why James Comey wasn't perp walked. And take a listen to his tone of voice and see if you think he's being genuine. And we'll discuss after. Take a listen.
I have the answer.
Yes.
It was there was a summons issued instead of an arrest warrant. I think that was an oversight. And so they couldn't have him. They could not have Comey surrender with the FBI when there was a summons instead of an arrest warrant. I think it was an administrative mistake and it was not intentional.
But even unintentional is not that. That is.
I hear you, man.
Okay, that's not the way we want to start.
I
this.
hear you, brother. I hear you, brother.
No, and I'm not blaming. Listen.
Can we listen to that one more time? Take a listen to the tone of his voice again and the stuttering from a man who says he's a very sharp attorney.
I have the answer.
Yes.
It was there was a summons issued instead of an arrest warrant. I think that was an oversight. And so they couldn't have him. They could not have Comey surrender with the FBI when there was a summons instead of an arrest warrant. I think it was an administrative mistake and it was not intentional.
But even unintentional is not that. That is.
I hear you, man.
Okay, that's not the way we want to start.
I
this.
hear you, brother. I hear you, brother.
No, and I'm not blaming. Listen.
So there's a clerical error between a summons and an arrest warrant. So you mean to tell me that there was some sort of administrative mistake on one of the biggest, going to be one of the biggest and most high-profile arrests this country's ever seen? First FBI director, former FBI director to ever be arraigned. And you telling me that somebody somewhere along the way made a clerical error, an administrative error, as Mike Davis puts it? I don't buy it. James Comey was given preferential treatment by maybe the Department of Justice, maybe the FBI, maybe they caved to somebody. But the fact that we're seeing this now play out after everything we've watched Trump's people go through is disgusting, in my opinion. And when you've got people out there like Mike Davis on Twitter every day promising that justice is coming, where's the justice in that? Where's the justice in giving this guy preferential treatment? He doesn't deserve that, and he's not entitled to it. The man's a crook. This is just the surface of what they've got James Comey on. It's going to be up to Pam Bondi now to do her damn job for once to get him on the actual crimes he committed. Because lying to Congress, I mean, let's be frank, it's a bullshit charge. It's a bullshit crime. If we go back and look at all the people who have lied to Congress and have gotten away with it, I mean, you'd have a lot of people in jail, a lot of former government officials in jail. Now, I'm not justifying and saying it's right. But what I'm saying is they should have prosecuted every single one of the people who have done it. Eric Holder, for once. Loretta Lynch, another one. I mean, there's tons of them. So it's not even apparent that the charges will hold up because James Comey now has filed for a motion to dismiss, or his attorneys are preparing to file for a motion to dismiss as he faces 5 years in prison if convicted. The case is assigned to U.S. District Judge Michael Nachmanoff. He's a Biden appointee. And James Comey's lawyer is a man by the name of Patrick Fitzgerald. Trial date is set for January 5th of next year, so just a few months away. Now, the motion to dismiss that he's set to file or is filed already is, quote, vindictive prosecution, and he's set to challenge U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan's appointment. So I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work out on the vindictive prosecution, because the Democrats are, I mean, vindictive prosecutors to the 10th. We don't have to rehash everything they've done. But it just boggles my mind as we sit here on Wednesday evening. By the way, we're live tonight, folks. If you're joining us on Rumble, please be sure to hit that like and thumbs up button and subscribe. If you're joining us on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on there, and we'll try to take some of your questions as we get to them here. We'll get to some now. We'll get to some shout-outs before we go to commercial break as I try to cool down, because I'm just livid with what we saw today. Kelly Song, as always, appreciate you tuning in. Let's get this one up here. D. Martinez. Can we all stop being duped now? This is President Trump's DOJ. He is the boss. He needs to fire Pam, worthless Bondi, and replace it with somebody that will go after Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, etc. Yeah. I mean, I've never been one to defend Pam Bondi. As a matter of fact, I've come out here more against her than for her. And it's not a personal thing. I don't know her. I mean, I've worked with her a little bit at Fox News, but it's nothing personal. It's just the fact that I think she's conflicted in some way and is not able to do her job honestly, whatever that means. I don't think she's able to do a job based on what she's done so far. I mean, obviously the Epstein files was just a massive screw up on her part, but I mean, it's continued. We're now months into this administration. You have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. You've got 10 months, just under 10 months. We have not one arrest. We've got not one deep state perpetrator under a grand jury. I mean, we were told months ago that there was grand juries impaneled for this and grand juries impaneled for that, and that the arrests were coming. And as Mike Davis says, nobody's above the law. Arrests are coming. Well, what has taken 10 months is my question. If someone knows the answer, please feel free to write to me or put it in the chat or write a message to me on Twitter. What if there's any lawyers in here? They knew the crimes they committed. Kash Patel is the FBI director. He investigated Russiagate for years under Devin Nunes. He knows where the bodies are buried, allegedly. What has taken 10 months to get any sort of indictment for any of these people who committed crimes? Some of them, I believe, treasonous. If we look at what James Brennan and John Clapper have done. Some of the other Russiagate folks, Obama, Hillary. What has taken 10 months is what I want to know. I mean, is it going to take another 10 months to get a grand jury impaneled? Because they got a grand jury impaneled in, I mean, it seemed just a few days to get these lying to Congress charges on James Comey. You hear constantly from the mainstream media and the people on the right, well, it's seditious conspiracy. It's still ongoing. So how much longer are you supposed to allow it to on go for? Are you allowed to just keep going until it stops? Because it'll never stop. I'll tell you that right now. I can guarantee you that. So the conspiracy is ongoing. Yes, that's what we're told. It's an ongoing conspiracy against President Trump and everyone around him. Yes, we've got it. We know that. We've known that for 10 years. So when are you going to get these people? I think is the right question. We're going to take a quick break here, folks. On the other side of this break, I want to get to some more of your questions. So much more to get to here on the Great America Show. We're coming right back. Happy Monday, folks. And please be sure, Monday. Happy Wednesday, folks. Please be sure to stay with us. We're coming right back. We're going to get to your questions and much, much more here on the Great America Show. Please stay with us.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that we're making it through. My employees and I want to thank you for your continued support by extending our wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows only $14.98. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98. But it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including my standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98. Kings only $1 more. Not only that, order $75 or more, ship absolutely free. From all of us here at MyPillow, thanks America!
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us here on the Great America Show. I appreciate it. And like I said, if you're joining us on Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, please be sure to like, follow, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and we truly appreciate it. Let's get back to some more of your comments here before we move on to some more news. Catherine over on Facebook. His trial is scheduled not until 2026, so he can enjoy his holidays, not the treatment DJT was given. Yeah. I mean, the guy was given these tight windows. The judge in New York acted like the Gestapo. I remember, if you guys remember, I believe President Trump's trial was going on around Thanksgiving, one of the ones in New York. And we were unsure if they were going to give President Trump off for Thanksgiving. And it was almost like he had to sit there and beg to possibly maybe get Thanksgiving off and go down to Florida with his family. That's what President Trump was up against. Fall girl, not one camera. No, not one camera. Didn't catch James Comey walking in. Didn't catch James Comey walking out. Not one in the courtroom. Not a set of handcuffs on the scumbag. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that. Let's see. Ronnie over on Facebook. I hope I am wrong, but I am afraid it will be a complete and waste of time for taxpayer dollars. Yeah. If all they're getting him on is the lying to Congress charge, I mean, good luck getting a jury in Deep Blue, Virginia to convict this guy. Good luck. Bill over on Facebook. Oh, it's a long one. Yikes. All right, let's try to get to this. Hillary had SAPs, special access programs, for those of you guys who aren't deep state professionals. Hillary had SAPs on her private and illegal server in her basement bathroom. They destroyed 30,000 government emails, and they were under subpoena with bleach bit and literal hammers, and she's still walking around as a free bird. Then these clowns totally expect you to take them seriously. Please, Patel and Bondi are another joke. That's it. With Comey, the clowns give him at least possible charge they could have come up with strictly for the show. They will give him kid glove treatment, allow him over. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we summed up for. It was summed up in the opening monologue. Here's a good one. Ellen over on Is that Ellen? Sorry, I have terrible vision. Prayers for James Comey. He has been framed. God help this nation. Oh, I pray for you, Ellen. I don't think James Comey has been framed. This is the least of his worries. At least I hope. At least I hope. Donald Trump is a man who had been framed. Oh, G Wi-Fi. This one makes me nervous. He guy gets me in trouble with these comments. Let's see what you say today. G Wi-Fi over on Rumble. Now James Comey has until January to find those seashells that says he is innocent. Yeah. You guys remember 8647. Make Trump disappear. Comey thought he was a big tough guy. And he got away with that too. I don't know if you remember, but Secret Service showed up at his house to question him. They put him in the car nicely. They made sure he didn't hit his head. They treated him very, very nicely. Very, very nicely. Mike over on Facebook, believe it or not, there is government corruption on both sides. If this problem comes down to another civil war, I believe the American people should start a new government as per country, government or basis, county-based government or basis, the best way to fix America. Yeah, Mark Mitchell, who we have on the show all the time, constantly says we're in the fourth turning. And for those of you who don't know what it is, I really recommend you look it up. And it's pretty much the concept that every 80 to 100 years, the government goes through a transition to form something new, and it's usually at a catastrophic event. So we had the Great Depression in the 20s, and then World War II in the 40s. So we're in between that period, that 80 to 100 years, where it could be the fourth turning, as Mark says it. Strafer over on Rumble. Wasn't Roger Stone, so CNN wasn't interested in getting the cameras there? Yeah, Roger, the crew, that is what you say. Yeah, the crew was outside of Roger's house at 6 a.m. I remember it like it was yesterday. I know Roger for a very, very long time. Just probably about 10 years is how long I know Roger. And I remember them raiding his house and talking to him, I mean, days before it even happened. The CNN camera crews were out there waiting to get him before his lawyer even knew he was being indicted. But they're worried. The Republicans are worried because they're listening to the Democrats and the mainstream media that if the Republicans, the Democrats seize power again, they're going to come after the Republicans. They're going to get them. Have these people not been paying attention to what the hell's been happening since Donald Trump left office in 2021? Is that not getting someone, what they did to him? But the Republicans are somehow bought into this nonsense. And I think some of them are actually scared and intimidated that the Democrats might possibly, and they will. Make no mistake about it. There's no hyperbole about it. They will. The Democrats are scum. They're literal scum of the earth with how they use judges, and they use a Justice Department, and they use judiciaries to push their corruption. They're scum. That's just the truth of the matter. But somehow some Republicans are intimidated because of what possibly may or not, may happen, may not happen. Who knows? But it doesn't matter if you go after the Democrats now. They're going to come for you anyway. Don't take my word for it. Look at 2016. Donald Trump didn't go after Hillary Clinton, right? He let her skate. He made amends. And that was it. Hillary never spent a day in jail, never spent a day in a courtroom. And then look what they did to him just 4 years later. So it doesn't matter if you go after the Democrats or not. And it's not even Democrat-Republican. It's corruption. James Comey's allegedly a Republican. Christopher Wray allegedly a Republican. It's a matter of going after these scumbags who committed treason in this country. And if we don't go after them now, we never will. And they'll continue to run this seditious conspiracy. And will be continued to get away with it. It's a joke. It's just truly a joke and a disgrace with what we saw happen today. With what we saw James Comey, a slap on the wrist. I mean, it's just a total joke. I think we've got a comment here that we missed. Mike over on Facebook, coddling this chump. Peter Navarro was strip searched. Yeah, Peter Navarro, I mean, was in an airport. And they embarrassed him and brought him out in leg shackles. And then Peter Navarro went to jail. I mean, Peter literally went to jail. And we're somehow supposed to be intimidated by these people. Like they may or may not do something to us. January 6th. Look what they did to those people. But we're supposed to live in some sort of fear that the Democrats are going to come after us. Well, they're going to either way. There's one way or another. So I think the right decision is to hold these people accountable. And if you don't hold them accountable, they'll never be held accountable. I mean, how much longer are we supposed to allow a deep state to control this country? How much longer are we supposed to allow them to commit treason and get away with it? With, nothing to show for. No questions asked. You can go down the list of people who were brutalized by this corrupt Justice Department. I mean, look what they did to General Michael Flynn. And the perpetrators of that never paid any price. Andrew McCabe still walking the streets. Andrew Weissman still walking the streets. Rod Rosenstein was still walking the streets. Lisa Page, Lisa Monaco. And all these people have still got no issues going out on the mainstream media and blabbering out their mouths. Because they know there's no retribution. They know there's no repercussions for anything they do. Because the Republicans are so weak and they're so terrified about what's behind them or who's coming after them. Because I truly believe there's so many of them who are compromised in their own way. Whether it be their girlfriends in D.C., or now we're hearing there's some gay ones and their boyfriends in D.C. living secretive lives. Whatever it may be. I mean, you guys all remember Madison Cawthorn came out and told us about the parties that they were having, the drug and orgy parties that they were having in Congress. All of a sudden, loses his election, has no backing of anything. No, I don't care for the guy. I don't care for his politics. I didn't care for him when he was a congressman. But I do find it odd that he comes out and talks about these sex parties and these drug parties and these gay swinger parties. And then the guy just loses his seat like it's nothing. Never to be seen again. Now he's running for re-election. But, I heard stir around Washington, D.C. when he came out. They're like, well, you don't just say that. You can't come out. You can't come out and, tell anybody that. You can't do that. But the reason I bring up the Republicans being scared, because Eric Trump was on CNN. Used to be CNN, News Nation with Chris Cuomo last night. And Chris Cuomo, who should know better than anybody what the deep state is capable of doing, what they did to Andrew Cuomo. Now, Andrew Cuomo is a whole different story. Andrew Cuomo is a scumbag. He's a low-life piece of garbage. He killed thousands and thousands of grandmothers and elderly people. He's a scumbag. But he was not removed from office for that. He was removed from office from taking a photo and holding his hand on a girl's lower back. Is he a creep? Yeah, probably. He says he's Italian. That's the reason. If he is a sexual predator, he deserves to go down for that too. But they didn't show, in my opinion, any sort of credible evidence that this man was removed for that. He was removed for something far further. And what it should have been was the fact that he killed people, thousands of people. And now somehow he's qualified to run for mayor? So anyway, Chris Cuomo on with Eric Trump last night with the same question. Aren't you going after your political opponents and political enemies like you said you weren't going to do? And Eric just absolutely levels him. Let's take a listen in.
Do you think that it is fair to say it looks like the administration is going after its political opponents now and doing exactly what you say you oppose?
What, Comey? Because I mean, it seemed very clear to me in the congressional testimony. I don't know, just watching it, I certainly seemed like he lied to me. I mean, I'm also wondering what an FBI director is doing, taking memos from the FBI and leaking them to the New York Times. I mean, Chris, I'm a guy that hopes that the FBI director would be keeping planes from flying into buildings, keeping our country safe, keeping the Western way of life safe. Instead, this guy is, communicating every single day with the New York Times. I mean, I'd hope a lot better, but I find it so ironic that you're literally one that's pushing back on the weaponization of government when the very same people that were coming after us, went after your brother like hounds. I mean, they did everything they could to destroy his governorship. They did everything they could to destroy his life. They did everything they could to destroy you. I sat in that same seat. The only difference is my last name wasn't Cuomo. My last name was Trump. They were trying to destroy my father. And by doing that, they were trying to destroy me, and they were trying to destroy the Trump organization. They were trying to take all our assets and strip our name off of every building in New York City. You've been on the receiving end of the very same people that I've been on the receiving end of. And so to play coy with me as if this isn't happening in the United States of America just seems ironic and foolish, given what you've been through more so than anybody.
Hold on a second. What did you just say that you think I'm doing? I'm asking you questions about whether or not, if something is wrong, it is also wrong to do the same thing when you get back in power, which certainly happened the first time the administration came in. You went right after Biden. And I don't mean you weren't part of the administration. I'll get to you in a second in terms of what's going on right now. But if you think I'm playing coy, you don't know me as well as you should.
Chris,
I'm not playing coy. I know what happened to me,
Chris,
Eric.
did we?
I'm saying
Chris,
that
and it was
what is
horrible
happening now looks like what was done to you. That's why I'm asking the question.
Did we raid Biden's home? Did we try and bankrupt Biden? Did they come after us? Did we weaponize every AG and DA, against Biden? Did we do that against Hunter Biden, who had a laptop from hell, pictures of cocaine, illicit drug use, prostitution? Did we do that? Did we make up a dirty dossier about Biden? Did they try and destroy Biden's marriage? Was any of that true? I mean, did we make up stories that Biden had secret servers in the basement of his home communicating with the Kremlin in Russia? Did we strip Biden off the ballot of multiple states? Did we take Biden off of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and try and silence his voice so he couldn't communicate? Did we put Biden in a courtroom every single day? 91 felony counts that have all been overturned for my father now, right? For nonsense, to try and keep him off of a campaign trail and to try and destroy his life. Did we do any of that?
Huh? Chris Cuomo sitting there like the fool he is. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure, as a matter of fact, Donald Trump and his administration didn't do any of that, or the Republicans for that matter. Truly, truly feckless people. Folks, we're going to take one more quick break here on the Great America Show. So much more to get to when we return. Please stay with us. If you're joining us on YouTube or Rumble, please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe and hit that thumbs up. We're coming right back. Thanks for staying with us.
Just like all of you, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. I'd flip-flop all night, use my arm for support, and fall asleep, or I'd wake up with a sore neck or maybe a headache. Well, quality sleep comes from keeping your neck straight at night. You have to fill in that space between your head and your bed. That's why I invented My Pillow. My Pillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it doesn't matter if you sleep on your back, stomach, side, or any combination of all three.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night, and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get Classic King My Pillows for only $19.98. Queen size just $18.98. Standard Classic My Pillows only $14.98. That's right, only $14.98. Plus all orders $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us here on the Great America Show. If you're joining us, as I said, on YouTube or Rumble, please be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. Any follow we can get, any like we can get, we truly appreciate it, and we thank you for joining us each and every night here on the Great America Show. Let's get to a few of your questions if we can. Before we move on with some news, I like to let you guys know and let you guys ask the questions when we're live. Strafer over on Rumble, Republicans better grow balls because we're already in a civil war. The libs threw the gloves off when Trump walked down those stairs. You're absolutely correct. Paul Girl, they need to get Ray and Mayorkas ASAP. Yeah, I think that ship has sailed. A total disgrace. They let him walk because of weak-kneed Republicans who are most likely compromised. G-Wi-Fi, John, let's pray that our Yankees even the series with the Blue Jays tonight. You beat me to it, G-Wi-Fi. Those of you who aren't baseball fans, who are baseball fans, it's, I think, crucial for the Yankees who are in the playoffs right now, down 2-1 to Toronto, Canada. The Yankees, crucial they win. They were getting smoked last night, if any of you guys were watching. I was ready to throw in the towel by the third inning. They were down like 6-1 after the second. They gained back 2 runs. It was 6-3 going into the third or the fourth. And then this happened.
2-strike pitch. Hits a drive down the line. If it's fair, it's his moment. It is. It's tied. Judge has arrived.
And it was all history from there. The Yankees came back and wound up winning the game. So tonight we've got game 4, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So please say a prayer for the Yankees and let's beat these Canadians, right? I don't think it's right that we let Canadians win, right? So let's pray for them. Joyce over on Facebook. Entire government is corrupt. You're not going to get an argument from me on that one. Fogo, yes, include Merrick Garland with those 2 morons, I think, referring to Mayorkas and Ray, who are still, as I said, running around. No charges, nothing. Free and fair, nothing. They need to remove the name Cuomo off the Tappan Zee Bridge in New York after all the shenanigans this Cuomo family has done. Yeah, they're a very corrupt family, much like the Kennedy family was in Massachusetts. And somehow they found a way to run New York. Total disgrace, but I guess what else can you expect from these people? So let's get back to some more news before we wrap today's show. The government shutdown is still happening, and just moments ago on Capitol Hill, Mike Lawler, who I can't stand, he's a Republican congressman from New York, but he's kind of grown on me after seeing this clip of him, confronted Hakeem Jeffries, and it's quite funny. It's a little bit long, but he embarrasses the hell out of him. And just pay attention to Hakeem Jeffries' body language and how choked up he gets. I don't know how he starts his little ghetto routine like a tough guy. Take a listen. Mike Lawler and Hakeem Jeffries.
Did you get permission from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did your boss, Donald Trump?
You can easily extend
the
ACA
Did your
right
boss,
now.
Donald Trump,
He's
give
not
you
my
permission?
boss.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. And by the way,
So let me ask you a
why
question.
did you vote to
Let me
shut
ask
the
you a
government
question.
down?
You
Why
know
did you vote to shut it
Let me
down?
ask you a question.
For years, you always
Well,
lectured
you're
about
making-
how we need to
you're
keep the
making
government
You're
open.
making a show of this to
No,
make
it's
yourself
sad.
relevant.
It's sad. You could
It's
easily
an
sign on to
You're
this.
embarrassing
You
yourself
could
right
sign
now.
on to this. The only
You're
embarrassment
chasing
here is
clout.
you.
You're an
You
embarrassment.
could sign on to the bill.
Let me ask you a question.
You have 4 Democrats on here.
Let me
Why
ask you a
won't you
question.
sign on
Let me ask
to
you a
it?
question.
It's a
Let
clean
me ask you
extension
a
for 1
question.
year.
You voted for the one big
Clean
ugly bill,
extension.
correct?
I voted for a
The
tax
largest-
cut bill that gave the largest tax cut
the
to
largest-
Americans in history,
the
including, by
largest-
the way, the average New Yorker getting a $4,000 tax cut. Are you against that?
You're embarrassing
Do you want
yourself
to
right now.
cut the standard deduction in
The
half? Is that
largest
what you
cut
wanted
to
to do?
Medicaid in
No, we
American
rooted
history.
out
You voted
waste,
for that.
fraud, and abuse, by the
You
way.
voted
Tom DiNapoli, the
for a
Democratic
permanent-
controller of New York,
Let me ask you a question.
pointed out that $1.2
If
billion
you're gonna-
wasted.
Listen, you're not gonna
wasted,
talk. You're not gonna talk to
wasted
me. You're not
on
gonna talk to me
fraud
and talk
and
over
non-New
me
York residents
because you don't
getting
want to
paid.
hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why
Go
don't you
ahead.
just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you
is
showed
that-
up.
is that the way to
you
talk?
showed up. You showed up.
Yeah.
And so you voted for this one
I
big
signed
ugly
on
bill.
for this. You can extend it
A
right now.
permanent extension of massive tax breaks for your billionaire donors.
So 90% of
So
Americans.
they can get a permanent extension.
90% of Americans
But
take the
working-class
standard
Americans
deduction.
can't? Is that right?
90% of Americans take the standard deduction.
Is that
right?
right?
If you had your way, the standard deduction would have been cut in half. That
No
would have been a
one-
massive tax increase
no one-
on Americans all across the country.
You're
You support
here,
that?
unfortunately.
You're
to
against
do
lifting the cap on
bidding
salt?
Of your billionaire donors.
The
That's
billionaire
unfortunate.
donors lifting the
That's
cap on
correct.
salt. We put a income cap in place.
Why are you here right now?
An income
Where the
cap.
re- where
Well,
the rest
didn't
of
you
your
want all
Republican
Republicans
colleagues?
to be here?
Where
I'm
the
here.
rest, where are the rest of your Republican
You wanted
colleagues?
Republicans to be here. I'm here.
Why are you
And
here?
by the way,
Why-
you can
Why-
pass an ACA extension right now. Sign
your
on to this
boss-
bill.
Did your boss
Sign
Donald
on
Trump-
to the bill.
Is your boss Donald Trump behind that?
HR 5145. Why don't you get on it?
Mike, is your boss Donald Trump behind that?
Why won't you get on it?
Because you don't work for the American people.
Oh, I do. I
You
work
don't
for the people
in
of
the
New
17th
York. I
congressional
work for the
district.
people of my district.
Is that why you? Is that
I'm
why
here.
You got 145.
And by the way, I voted
people
for
on
a
Medicaid.
clean CR to keep the government open
Mike,
and funded.
you're-
You voted to shut it
You're
down.
embarrassing yourself right
Yeah, leader, with all due
Well, as we
respect,
would say
you're
back
the
in the-
one.
why are you playing yourself?
You're the one
Why are you
who
playing
actually
yourself with
voted
these
to shut
theatrics?
the government down.
now. Actually, you
It's
know
sad.
that's not true.
It's sad. You voted to shut the government
Listen,
down.
Do Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the President?
Right, and
correct?
you're smart enough to know
Is
that,
that
you
right?
need 60 votes in the Senate,
Is
right?
that right? No.
Do you need 60 votes in the
Were
Senate or no?
60 votes needed to pass your one big ugly bill?
Reconciliation, which you
Was
did with the
60
IRA,
were
and
60
boy, that really reduced inflation.
Are you
did a
trying to
great job
elevate
there.
yourself because you're afraid
I'm not
you're
trying
about
to
lose
elevate myself.
re-election?
No, I'm not going to lose
Let me ask you a
re-election. You
question.
spent $42 million last cycle.
Mike,
You didn't do
Mike,
that
let me
great.
ask you a question. Why aren't you running for governor right now?
Because I actually enjoy this job, and I'm here to do it. And
enjoy-
by the way,
you
you
enjoy
could actually
embarrassing
pass.
yourself?
You could actually pass
You enjoy being a
a
lackey for
subsidy
Donald
right
Trump?
now
Is that
to
right?
ensure that people don't have health care premiums going up. Why won't you support this one-year
Let
bill?
me ask you a question.
Tom Swazi's on it. Jared Golden.
Let me ask you a question.
Marie
Let me ask you a
Glusenkamp
question.
Perez.
Let me ask
Are
you a
they
question.
wrong?
Your
Don
other,
Davis?
your other boss,
Are they wrong?
Your other boss, Mike Johnson. I challenged him to a debate
Yeah.
on the floor. Did he send you?
No, I'm here
On
on
his
my
behalf,
behalf
'cause
of
he's
my
afraid to
constituents,
debate. Is
because
that
you
right?
shut the government down. And my constituents are suffering as a result of your ridiculous ploy, because you're so afraid of Zohran Mandami. By the way, when are you endorsing him?
By the way,
do you endorse him for mayor?
First of all, are
Are you going to endorse him for mayor?
Listen, you're a complete and total embarrassment right now.
Oh, why is that? Because you don't want to answer the question?
Is this supposed to be a video for your failed
You don't want
re-election?
to.
Is
You
that
don't.
what's
You
going
don't
on
want to
right
answer
now?
the question. Do you support Zohran? By the way, did you see his
Listen.
statement yesterday?
Listen.
An embarrassment on October 7th, blaming the Jews. You support that? Should he be the Democratic nominee for mayor?
First of all, I don't answer to you. You
Should
don't
he be
even
the Democratic
answer to
mayor?
yourself.
Should he be the
You don't
Democratic
even-
nominee
I'll
for
answer
mayor?
whatever questions I need to answer about
Okay,
the
so
mayor's
you think
race,
his statement
about the
yesterday was okay?
First of all,
All right. That's sad.
First of all,
It's unfortunate.
don't come with this phony
These are bills.
bill. No.
These are bills. They're not phony.
It's
They're
not
real
a bill
bills.
that Republicans are even.
Like I said, I don't particularly care for Michael Lawler. Never liked him. But what he did to that numbskull was absolutely brilliant. I can't look at him any other way now without his sombrero. I mean, the guy is just a total fool. But he's far from the only messed up Democrat in Congress. Nancy Pelosi, who's very seldomly sober, was on CNN, and she was asked, take a listen to her try to get the words out of her mouth.
I understand what you're saying about where the differences are, and they are very big. They are voting yes on what we say here in Washington, a clean CR, a bill to keep the government running for 7 weeks, and Democrats are voting no, and for the reasons you just said. So how are they shutting down the government?
First of all, it isn't a clean CR.
Okay.
So let's not stipulate to that. It's not a clean CR.
What do they have in
It's
it?
going into that. The point is,
Nancy, it's the same government funding that was done under the Democrats for the last few years. So I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about. You guys are just total liars, and you don't even know when you're lying. And when you start lying, as Michael Cohen said, you just can't stop and you keep on going. You're a total disgrace, Nancy. And so is Hakeem Jeffries, who, got absolutely steamrolled by Mike Lawler. Let's take a few more of your questions, folks, before we wrap up here on the Great America Show. The Yankees game is coming up, and I know you all want to go watch it and cheer on America. So let's get some more of your questions. Hatua Jeffries sucks. Yes, he does. Hakeem Jeffries doesn't just look right without his sombrero on. I agree with you. I can't look at him any other way now. Frank over on Facebook, Jeffries is a tool. I think you're putting it far too nicely, Frank. Shows everyone that the DOJ is still corrupt as hell. Bob on Facebook. Yeah, I'm not in total disagreement with you, Bob. I am not going to totally disagree with you. Why do they make it look like a TV soap opera? It's so cute. And Hakeem Jeffries has no facts. Yeah, none of the Democrats do. Which, before we wrap up, I want to bring you 2 clips because I thought they were hysterical. And I'm obviously not a big fan of Pam Bondi, especially with what happened today. But she was on Capitol Hill yesterday. And anytime anyone makes Adam Schiff look like a fool, it makes me laugh.
This is supposed to be, this is supposed to be an oversight hearing in which members of Congress can get serious answers to serious questions about
the riots in LA serious?
About the cover-up of corruption, about the prosecution of the president's enemies. And
I think you owe the president an apology.
When will it be
Your entire career, frankly.
that the members of this committee on a bipartisan basis demand answers to those questions and refuse to accept
Clearly you're a failed lawyer because you don't understand when
excuse
someone
me,
can and cannot
refuse
answer
to
a
accept
question.
personal slander as an answer to those questions.
Personal slander.
With
Will
that,
you
Madam
apologize
Chair,
to Donald
I yield
Trump
back.
for slandering him? Personal slander.
We've got one more for you because they're just too good. Watching these Democrat fools, it's so soothing to see how stupid they are. Denang Dick, Richard Blumenthal, who was, what did he say? He was a Vietnam hero. Then he forgot that he never really did the things he said he did. She called him out on that too.
I do have a question. In the merger that took place,
Which
that was
merger? You've
approved
listed many.
involving American Express GBT, I understand that Brian Ballard, longtime backer and head of the law firm where you worked, was instrumental in lobbying the Justice Department to drop that lawsuit. It was dismissed, so it's not subject to a court review. What conversations did you have with Mr. Ballard?
Senator Blumenthal, I cannot believe that you would accuse me of impropriety when you lied about your military service.
I am
you
not
lied.
asking
You
you.
admitted you
I am
lied
not
to be
accusing you
elected
of
a U.S. senator.
impropriety.
You
I'm asking
lied.
you
How
about
dare you? I'm a
conversations
career prosecutor.
with Mr.
Don't you
Ballard,
ever challenge my integrity.
had
I have
apparently-
abided by every ethics standard. Do not question my ability to be fair and impartial as Attorney General and anything
You'll
with
answer that
my
question to
former
another of my
firm,
colleagues.
Ballard Partners.
Thank you.
Like I said, not particularly fond of Pam Bondi, but anytime a lib is owned, it makes me laugh. And when I laugh, I hope it makes you laugh. I got a pretty decent sense of humor, I like to think. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you all enjoyed tonight's show. As always, Bobcat1776. He's one of our monthly subscribers. A special shout out to Bobcat. Thank you so much for donating to us each and every month. We truly appreciate you being one of our subs. Great American you are. Go Yankees. That's all for us tonight, folks, here on the Great America Show. We hope to see you back here tomorrow for the Great America Show, where the quest for truth, justice, and the American way continues. I'm sorry we had to cut tonight short. We got to go watch the Yankees, and the Yankees got to go beat those Toronto Blue Jays. Folks, I hope you all have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, may God bless you. May God bless America, and may God bless the great Louis Dobbs. God bless you all. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.